What's up, YouTube? It's me, Jazz and Wete, and it's like midnight in LA right now, but I just feel like I need to vent this because I'm be real with you guys. I have been going through a lot of shit recently, and it's been really hard. Like, I've just been really trying to get over myself and get over a lot of like expectations put on by society, by my family, and really myself, you know? Listen, I am 25 years old and I feel like I've done really well for myself. When I was in high school, let's even go like further back. When I was younger, I really was lost. I went through a lot as far as trying to understand who I was. I was an only child and I had my mom who was really awesome and she worked really hard to like give me a really good home and I'm so appreciative of that. But she was working all the time. So for me, I was by myself and I'll be honest, I had a lot of like emotional issues, not only with my identity, but just like growing up differently. I was fat. I was, I didn't fit in. I was weird. And so it was hard for me. I never felt normal. When I was in like 10th, 11th grade, I really wanted to focus on college and education. But honestly, guys, I didn't know who the fuck I was. I was really preoccupied in making friends and going out and being cool because I had no sense of who I was. When I got into high school, I really wished that I could have been that student that could have been focused on grades and career and the big picture. And I was smart. I could have done a lot of those things. But between you and me, that wasn't my focus. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be understood. I wanted to find myself. And I went through a lot trying to discover who I was. And even then, I had no clue. I was hospitalized for suicide twice when I was in high school. And it happened. I'm glad it kind of happened. I learned a lot about myself. And so I just feel like there's no fucking way I could have gotten to Yale or Stanford or USC, UCLA, Oxford. Like, there's just no way that I could have done that. I really wish I could have, guys. I really wish I could have been that straight A student, but I was more focused on figuring out who I was, And then even then, I had no clue. It wasn't until I went to college my freshman year where I realized, holy shit, I think I'm trans. I didn't realize I was trans until I was like 18 or 19 years old. And then even then, it's like, well, holy shit, I really want to focus on college, but I need to transition, And so all my focus went into my transition. And it all happened for a reason. Like, I really am glad that I took time to really understand myself and grow into myself. But key word is time, because then I started my transition. I started hormone therapy around 19. Oh. I started hormone therapy at 20 years old. I was in St. George, Utah. I was like a sophomore in college and I started hormone therapy, and that was the beginning of my entire transition. And from that point on, it was just this roller coaster ride. I ended up taking 2 years off of school, and I really took time to understand myself. So I took time off of school. I went back to school when I was 22. And ever since then, I've just been in school really trying to like catch up. Even then, I've had to really take time off for my surgery and really try to understand myself. To be honest with you, I'm at a point now where, listen, I've gone through the therapy. I've gone through, the physical changes. You know, I have all my legal stuff changed. You know, I literally live my life now and it's great. And now I've had this huge surgery, which is awesome. I talk with my hands a lot. Like, I am that person that will talk with their hands. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. And with these acrylics, I'm just like, but honestly, I want to take them off because they're so unnecessary. Like, let's be real. I feel like I really don't like acrylics because they're cute, but they're like such a hindrance on everyday things. Like, God, if this was a horror movie, I would be murdered because I bet you if this was a horror movie, I would die because of these things. Like, I wouldn't be able to catch something and then I'd be dead and then it just wouldn't be pretty, you know? So, but they're cute. Um, what was I talking about again? Oh, so I had my surgery and now I'm at this weird point where it's like, okay, I'm good with myself, I'm good with my body, I'm adjusted in my like reality. Not time for the next step. But honestly, guys, it's really hard because I feel like there's so much pressure. Like, I compare myself to people who are like 25 years old that have like full-time careers. They're making like $100,000 a year. They like went to Ivy League schools or really good schools. They got their bachelor's degree. They're successful. They're living their lives. And sometimes I'll be on Instagram like looking at people and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I did that. I wish when I was 19 years old, like I discovered the formula to cure cancer or something like that. Whenever I think about it, I'm like, there's no fucking way I could have done that. There's no way. Like, and sometimes I'm really hard on myself because it's like, I'm like, Jasmine, why aren't you doing all these amazing things like all these amazing people? Like, I have friends that have businesses, I have friends that are traveling the world doing amazing things, you know? And they have full time careers, they're living their lives. And a part of me is almost like, God, like, I wish I could have been like them. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, why didn't I do that? Like, I'm so disappointed in myself because part of me is like, you fucked up. You should have done more. And I have to sit back and think, like, I'm not them. They did not have to go through what I went through. I didn't have to go through what they went through. You know, like, they're not the same. You can't compare the two. They're two different narratives, you know? But I feel like I'm at a point where I have to remind myself that because there's so much pressure, I think, mainly because of social media. I think it's so easy to like swipe through and see all these lives people are living, kind of like be envious and jealous and kind of hate yourself a bit. But that's not my story, you know? And I have to constantly remind myself, like, there's something more, you know? And it sucks because there's also the family pressure where your family is like, well, why aren't you doing this? Or why aren't you doing that? Or, you know, you should be doing this. And it's kind of like, honestly, guys, I wish I could have done that. And I will succeed in everything I want to do. But get off of me. Get off of me. Ugh, that was not a cute face. Really, it's like, lay off. Like, I literally cannot do it all. You know, unfortunately, I didn't have the time to go to Yale, you know, but I can tell you I'm fully adjusted in my identity and I have overcome some huge obstacles, some huge emotional barriers that a lot of people still at even older than 25, at 45, 65, 85, they don't know how to get over, you know? And for me, like, I'm happy and I feel like that's a really important thing to have. Or, I'm sorry, whoa, ugh. A very important thing to be. And so I'm at this point now where it's like, okay, what's next? And I just want to share because I feel like I'm not the only one that's going through this. You know, and for all the kids that are on the opposite end where you're like, I'm successful, I went to the great school, I have a great career. I want to know where you're at too because it's like just because you have everything doesn't mean you have everything, you know? And that can be hard too because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You know, I feel like it's so funny how we all chase this idea of like happiness. But like, what does it even mean? Like, what is success? Because success to one person can mean something to another person. I'm in this new step where it's like, okay, what am I going to do and how am I going to do it? And okay, yeah, maybe I didn't have all the mental capacity to do it before, but at the same time, I had to figure some stuff out myself in order to get to this point. I just want to share this because I feel like we're all in the same boat, and I just want to express this, that it's okay to take time. It's okay to understand yourself. And it's also okay to dedicate yourself to something and accomplish it and know what you want and become successful. Like, I feel like we're all part of the same journey, it's just different pathways. And also, one thing that I'm just gonna share that I have to remind myself is you have to honor your journey, honor it, okay? You are not like anyone else. Your story is not like anyone else. Honor that shit, okay? Don't sit there and be like, well, mine isn't, they might had it harder or they had it easier. Like, no, your story is your story. Yeah, it's like late. I mean, I'm making sense right now. I'm like, but you like that face? Good night. Sleep tight. Even though you could be watching this at any point in the day. Like, who am I kidding? Like, it's YouTube. Anyways, thanks for listening. Talk soon.